and welcome to another writing vlog, and I am super excited to get into writing this weekend because I have not been writing very much lately. If you're new here, my name is Stephanie and I am writing my first book called Project Lily, and I'm currently on the 4th draft and I forgot to look at what chapter. If you missed my last video, I just got a new job and as a result, haven't been writing very much. It's taken a lot of adjustment in terms of trying to find time to write and figuring out the best time for me to write. And I'm still working on that because it's only been my first week and I haven't had a lot of time to experiment or try new things. So overall, it's been a little bit chaotic in the writing department. I have been averaging about 200 words per day on my work days, which isn't great. I would like to increase that a little bit, figure out how, but that's more of a long-term project to figure out the best way for me to do that. But now it's the weekend, it's Friday afternoon, and I have the whole weekend to write and do whatever else I need to do. I really have missed my writing so much over the last week and not being able to write that I am just really anxious to get back into it. And I can't wait, and I'm hoping I'll be really productive this weekend. I do have an appointment in about an hour, so what I'm going to do for the rest of the day is squeeze in a small writing sprint, probably about a half hour after I finish recording this, and then I'm going to go to my appointment, and then I'll come back and I will spend the rest of the evening writing. I can't wait to have more than like 20 minutes to write. It's gonna be amazing, and I'm also looking forward to having like hours to write as well. Unfortunately, it's not going to be my typical 3 to 4 hour evening because I still want to go to bed sort of early so I can keep on my work schedule. But that also means that I will be able to wake up a little extra early tomorrow and have some time to write tomorrow morning before I start into any activities I have to do. I can't wait to jump in. I just finished a chapter yesterday, so today I get to start the new chapter. I wish I had looked before I started recording at what chapter I'm about to write, but I did not. So I'm just gonna pop it up here. This is the chapter that I am going to start today. Good evening. I made tons of progress today. You're not going to believe it, so I'm going to go through it. And I need my computer because it's a lot and I can't remember it all. So today I finished 3 chapters. I've never done that much before, but I will explain what's going on. So I wrote, which chapters? 35, 36, and 37 tonight. And I ended up writing a total of 3,600 words, and I'm at a total word count of 80,500. Now, here's what's going on. I've had a lot of problems with this draft, especially the middle, because it's kind of new. I'm coming up with stuff off the top of my head. Quite frankly, I've learned now that I still haven't planned it out very well. So I was having really low word counts because it was new. I didn't really have much to go from. Now that I'm in these chapters, these 3 chapters in particular, and the one before it that I wrote prior to this vlog, these are chapters that have been in my draft for the last 3 drafts, now the 4th draft. So I didn't really feel the need right now to go through and perfect these chapters. I'm just reading through them to make sure that I have information in there that I need to, that the characters are going through the emotions that they need to. I'm not worrying about line editing. I am fixing random typos that I come across, but I'm not worried about fine-tuning the phrasing and stuff like that. And because of that, I've been able to really go through these chapters very quickly. And I think this will continue throughout the end of the draft. So I'm hoping I can get through the end of this book really quickly. My goal is to finish it by the end of May. It's currently May 8th, 7th, 9th, I don't know, something like that. It's a Friday, whatever that Friday ends up being. So it's possible for me to finish the 4th draft by the end of the month. I have like 3 weeks left. I have discovered another problem with this draft, and it ties into kind of the main issue I've been having in this draft, which I'm going to make a completely different video about because it's a long story. But what's going on is I've added a lot of chapters to this novel and a lot of more scenes. And so typically I would look at this novel and I'd say, okay, I'm 80% done. I'm at 80,000 words. My last draft was 105,000 words, so I'm pretty close to the end. But when I look at my chapter count, I'm on chapter 30. I just finished chapter 37. And in my last draft, this same chapter was chapter 28. So I've pretty much added 10 chapters into the middle. Now, a few of these, not all of these, but a few of them are the result of me just dividing up one big chapter into 2 smaller chapters. I've done that a few times, so that's not a huge deal. However, I have added more chapters, and I keep adding more and more. And I'm hoping that this is the end, because from this point forward, I'm just taking what was already there. I may divide things up if I feel the need to, but I don't think I'll be adding anything else. But I'm already 10 chapters over what I was before. It'll be interesting to see how it ends up. I won't really know until I finish the draft. But because of that, I think I'm going to have a lot more chapters than I had in draft 3. And I'm also going to have a lot more words. I do not think this novel will come in at 100,000. I think it's going to come in well over 100,000. Right now, I can't really guess as to how many as well because I haven't written it. But just considering where I am, I think this is going to be a very, very long draft. Again, I know why. I know what's going on. I'll explain it in more detail in another vlog because this is a whole story. Draft 4 has been kind of a nightmare for me. But at least I've made good discoveries. So anyway, back to a more positive note. I was very productive today. I had my cookies. I haven't had cookies in quite a while because I made a cake and I've been eating the cake. I still have pieces of the cake in the refrigerator, but I really wanted to make a sweet treat because it's been hard going back to work and I just needed something to, like a little pick-me-up for the evening and to carry me through the weekend. So I enjoyed my cookies. That helped me write, I think. It helped me get in the mood. I had my music playing. I was just very in the zone, which also helped. I wasn't getting distracted, and that was nice. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow to see how much I will do tomorrow because I went through 3 chapters today in probably the span of 2 to 3 hours. I didn't really track how long I wrote. Tomorrow I should have a lot more time. The weather's going to be pretty bad tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. So I'm going to try and do what I can tomorrow morning that requires me to leave my apartment. And then I will settle in for the rest of the day tomorrow to write. I'm already finished with chapter 38. I edited it for maybe a half hour to an hour this morning, ran a bunch of errands, and then came back and finished up editing the chapter. I'm moving right along for all the reasons I mentioned last night. I'm not going to rehash that, but it is really exciting to be moving along through this really quickly. I felt for a while that I needed to sort of get through the end of this draft. And I'm just starting to go through everything so fast, and I'm getting closer and closer to the end, and it's kind of a relief, to be honest. It is going to start raining any second now, so I'm glad everything is out of the way. I'm going to spend the rest of the day writing/editing these last several chapters. I'm not going to finish the book in this vlog, there's no way, but I am going to work really hard to get as much done as possible today because I have so much time at my disposal. I will be doing things in between, like laundry and cleaning the apartment. I think today's a good day to get all that stuff done so I can start tomorrow fresh with everything else done, and I can enjoy myself a little bit while I also do my writing. I'm also really liking having this whole afternoon at home and evening because I have been gone from my apartment for so long throughout the week that it's nice to have time to just chill. And besides all the cleaning, I actually am going to start watching a TV show. I know I don't watch TV that much, but The Other Bennett Sister came out in the US this week, and I'm so excited to watch it. I've been seeing all the clips on TikTok, and I just have been waiting for months for it to release. So I'm gonna hopefully watch that tonight. I do have to sign up for BritBox. I've never done that before. It should be easy, but I will start watching that tonight, which will be really exciting. And I may even pick up a book to read because I haven't read in a while, and that's very bad of me. I need to be reading a lot more than I am. I've struggled with that since I started writing. It's been hard for me to read at the same time because I feel like I have this time to write, I should be writing, and then if I read, I'm taking away from writing time. And then also when I'm just really in the zone with writing and I have a lot to do and I'm going through it really quickly and I'm super focused, I just kind of forget about reading. Like, I have forgotten it for a while, and the only reason I remembered was because yesterday my Kindle started flashing at me saying it had a low battery. And I was like, oh gosh, I should probably read something. So I do have a lot to do today, even though I'm in my apartment, and hopefully I can get everything I want to do that is needed and wanted and get a lot of writing done as well. Through 5 chapters today in total, and that's pretty insane. Now, the last chapter, I still have a little bit of work to do. I read through it, I made some small revisions here and there, but there's a section at the very end that I kind of need to change completely. So I'm going to do that tomorrow. I didn't feel like doing that tonight. But yeah, 5 chapters. Now I have to say, I'm mostly doing reading, not tons of editing or anything like that, simply because there's not that much for me to do at this moment. The 4th draft was always going to be about plot and character, and these chapters have what the plot and character needs, and so there's not much for me to change at this point. That's why I'm going through this so fast. I've never, like, if I was truly writing, there's no way I would have done 5 chapters today. It's just way too much. But because I was mostly reading and I was satisfied with what was there, nothing really needed to change. I will say what I've noticed while reading through this is I really need to step up my game in terms of line editing and phrasing and things like that, which is not what I'm covering in this draft. But while I'm reading through it and trying to rewrite things, I've just noticed that it's just the dialogue just doesn't quite flow sometimes, and it's a little choppy here and there. So I think whenever I line edit this, it's going to be a very tedious process, and it's going to take a long time because I think I've got a lot to fix in that arena. But that's a problem for another draft. I did start reading my book today. I'm reading Rewind It Back by Liz Tom Forty. It's the last in the series of the Windy City series. I've really enjoyed reading that series. And she has like a spinoff after this for that series, but it's very much like in the same characters are in it, and you've been introduced to the characters already. But I'm very excited. I've been wanting to finish. This series has gone on forever for me. I've been reading it for way too long. Like, I read one book and then a few months go by and I read another book. And usually when I read a series, I just devour them all at once. And for some reason, I think life I just haven't done it yet. But it was nice to start reading again. I always, as soon as I pick up reading, I'm like, oh my gosh, I missed reading so much. So that's something I'm going to have to try and be better at as I keep writing, is working in a little bit of reading time. And I started watching The Other Bennett Sister. It was so good. I watched 2 episodes tonight. There's 3 episodes total that are available at the moment, and then they're going to release one every week for the next 2 months, I think. It was very good. Unfortunately, the episodes are only 30 minutes long, which was just disappointing because I wanted it to be an hour. But still, it was very good, and I'm very excited to see what happens next. I've just started the series, but I like it a lot so far. That's going to be it for tonight. It's actually a little bit later than I want it to be, but I wanted to squeeze in that second episode of The Other Bennett Sister. It's a Saturday night, so I can stay up a little bit later. But I'm going to go ahead and get to bed, and tomorrow will be another day of writing. Today, I finished chapters 42 and 43. I didn't make as much progress as I did yesterday just because this morning I really worked out the end of chapter 41. I had to rewrite it. I had changed how I wanted a character to approach something, so that whole part of that scene needed to be rewritten. And I did that, and it's great, and I'm happy with it. Went through the next 2 chapters. I have a sneaking suspicion I may end up cutting these chapters, so I didn't spend too much time working on them. I read through them and kind of thought through, do I need these, do I not? And I'm going to sit on that for a little bit. I've also been doing a bunch of stuff in the background to get ready for work tomorrow, so that's been taking a little bit extra time away from my writing. In fact, I will not be writing tonight at all because I will be getting ready for work. I have to meal prep, and I clean up the apartment and get everything set, so I have as little to do throughout the whole week as possible in terms of stuff around the apartment. One thing I forgot to mention was I did cross 100,000 words. That's always a huge accomplishment. However, I'm nowhere near the end of this story. I think this is going to be an insanely long draft, definitely the longest one I've ever written to date. I will explain more about what's going on with that in another vlog, probably 2 vlogs from now, I believe. But it's still nice to cross that number. It makes me feel like I've written a complete book, even though it's not finished yet. It's just a relief knowing that it's got enough words. Maybe now I'm going to be concerned that it has too many. That's another story. But anyway, I am speeding through these last few chapters. There's a reason for that. I need to get through the end of this book as quickly as possible. I've got a lot of work to do on the middle part, and I do want to work on that. Also, the end, like where I am in these chapters have been written for honestly like a year and a half at this point. I don't see a need to really fine-tune them yet or change them around very much. So really what I'm doing, instead of rewriting or writing from the top of my head, I'm just reading what's there, and I'm just thinking, okay, is this still the case? Is this what needs to be there still? I make some small adjustments here and there, but overall, nothing in these chapters is really changing that much unless I come across something as in the end of chapter 41 where I needed to update it. I do believe that my next vlog will be finishing draft 4. Thank God. I can't wait for this draft to finish. It's been awful. And so I'm looking forward to finishing it. I don't know how many chapters I have left because my chapter situation has gone out of control, but I think I maybe have like 6 or 7 more chapters left. And I probably will be able to read through and revise a few of them over the course of this week. which means by next weekend, when I'm ready to film a vlog, I'll finish up this draft, which will be super exciting. It's kind of crazy how like a week or two ago, I was at 75,000 words and now I'm already at 100,000, and I will probably finish this novel next weekend. The progress on this last quarter has been insane, but again, it's because it's been written many times before. I honestly just am looking forward to next weekend so much so I can start putting this draft behind me. Although I say I'm going to put this draft behind me, but I'm just going to end up working on it some more. So this book will never be behind me until it's published, and even then, maybe not. But anyways, I'm rambling. I did have a great weekend in terms of productivity. I went through a lot, I did a lot, and I'm looking forward to next week and finishing up draft 4.